All right. Well, welcome to the webinar. Since we had technical issues with starting before, I'm going to jump right in and just let everybody know Kimberly's got some great things for us. She's been working on really for years. She's been working hard on it for the last several months, and she's been coming into my office and telling me, hey, Adrian, we've got to do this. There's some cool things that we can do with cover pages. We haven't even begun to tap what this can do for people in their practices. And so here it is. Kimberly, take it away.
Thank you. All right. So are you have my presentation? You're going to share it, or am I sharing it?
I have it, and I will load it up right now.
All right. I'm kind of excited about this. This has been on a back burner for me for a little while. When we released one of the last versions of AcuGraph this last year that allowed you to do multiple cover pages in AcuGraph, you have the ability to put a cover page on your AcuGraph report, and that's always been an important opportunity for you to educate your patients. And over the years, I've always wished that I had more opportunities. If only I could use this cover page and this cover page and this cover page, because there's always that first time the patient comes in, and then there's all the other times the patient comes in that another cover page is often important. So in today's presentation, we have a few goals. We're going to talk about the purpose of the AcuGraph cover page. We're going to talk about how to make a cover page. We get phone calls for new AcuGraph users who are a little confused on how to make the cover page template and where to put it in. So we're going to go through the basics of that. And we're going to teach you how to utilize multiple templates in your clinic. So not just your main cover page, but multiple others. And my hope, really my goal, is to give you some ideas and help you to get your own creative juices flowing. So as I share ideas, perhaps it will spark interest within you of other cover pages that you can create, because we're all different and we all run our practices a little differently. So why do you want a cover page? You want a cover page because it sets you apart from everyone else. That cover page shows your personality. It shows the flair of your clinic. It tells people who you are and what you do, and whatever's important to you at the time can be incorporated into a cover page, and I'll share more about that. But really, it's the lipstick. It's the beauty behind the report that you're giving. It shows your professionalism. It shows that you are different than other acupuncturists, and it gives the patient something to take home and to look at. And in my opinion, that's really important. It's an accessory. So Dr. Larson is going to give you a refresher on how to create a template in AcuGraph. So he's going to do a live demo on basics on creating a PDF, and he's going to talk about how to make one, what size it needs to be, how many you can have in your AcuGraph. And there are a few differences for Mac versus PC. So Dr. Larson will go over that. And what I want you to recognize right now is when we are done with this presentation, you have some resources that you can go back and see more information on the subject. So there was a blog post that was done earlier this year entitled AcuGraph Update, Adding Multiple Cover Pages, and there are really great step-by-step instructions on how to do that. So once we got the creativity going and we had a visual reminder to you here, you're going to be able to go back and look at that blog post. So you'll go to meridiatech.com/news, and then right up in the search engine, you can just type up adding multiple cover pages, and that blog post will come up. So I'm going to pass this back over to Dr. Larson, and he's going to share his screen, and he's going to kind of get into some of the basics.
Yeah, perfect. Let's talk about how to go about all of the technical nitty-gritty stuff with dealing with cover pages, because that's super important. Let me see if I can. I'm going to stop your screen sharing so you don't have to, Kimberly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And so I'm going to share my desktop here, and hopefully everybody is seeing my desktop now. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we see it. It looks
Yes.
nice.
Oh, perfect. Okay, we are in business. First of all, something that I want everybody to know about, because sometimes this actually causes people a little bit of confusion, and that is that you have instant access to your AcuGraph account right here within AcuGraph. Sometimes people say, well, I don't know where to go for my account, because we say, hey, did you know you can get all the webinars? They're in your AcuGraph account. You can get all the blog stuff. Just go to your AcuGraph account. And people say, well, what's that? Where do I go? So I want to point out right here at the top right, this is on the home page or the home screen of AcuGraph. There's your icon. And if you click online account, it's going to take you directly there and drop you right in. In fact, I just did that. And here I am right in my AcuGraph account just by clicking. Inside the AcuGraph account, along with some of the training and so on, if you look right up here at the top, there's a button called Webinars. And when you click that, it's going to take you right to the webinar training. Or you can just scroll to it. Either way, here are all the past webinars. And here are the places you can download the resources from past webinars. And after today, this webinar will have a download button for the resources that we're going to share with you in a few minutes. So I want to make sure everybody knows how to avail themselves of the resources that we share. AcuGraph News, AG News does the same thing, only that's going to take you over to the blog where we have case studies and blog posts going back for years. Lots and lots of great material there. So avail yourself of those things. And now with our AcuGraph open, let's talk a little bit about what to do with cover pages. So here we go. I'm going to pull up an example patient so we have somebody to work with. And I'll just show the last graph. And as you probably know, but I'll pretend you don't, when you go in here to print or email, down at the bottom, you have the ability to choose cover pages that go on the report. And so, for example, I have one called First Visit. I choose that, and it's put on my report in real time. And there's a drop-down list. You can have multiple cover pages. This is a new feature that we added last year. Or actually early this year, I think. We were very excited being able to have multiple cover pages. But now I want to talk about how to actually get those cover pages into AcuGraph so you can do all the cool stuff Kimberly's going to show you later. So what you want to do is go up to your settings. That's right here at the top of your screen in AcuGraph. It's always there. It's the little gear icon. And then click on Reports. That's the tab at the top of the screen. Once you're in the Reports area, then you can go to the Custom Cover Pages area. And you can choose to add cover pages right here. And I know what you're thinking. You're going, yeah, but where do I actually get the cover pages? Well, let's talk about that. I'm going to show you the process of creating one. So I have a cover page here called We Miss You. I'm going to pop that up on screen, and I'm going to show you how to prepare it to import to AcuGraph. Just as soon as that comes up. Here we go. So right now you're seeing the We Miss You cover page. This is something that was created in just a standard word processing program. In this case, it was Pages for Mac, but you can do this in Microsoft Word. You can do it in Publisher. You can do it in whatever you like to use for creating documents. And once you've got it created and edited the way you like it, you have to turn it into a PDF. Now, this is really actually very easy to do. Don't let it intimidate you at all. Let me show you what to do. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to choose File and I'm going to choose Print, as if I was going to print this sheet. But instead of printing it, here in the Mac, I can actually choose, there's a PDF menu down here at the bottom left in the print window. And I can choose that I'm going to save it as a PDF instead of printing it. So I pick that, Save as PDF. It's going to ask where. I'm going to put it up here on the desktop. I'm going to give it a name, We Miss You Cover Page.pdf, and I'm going to hit Save. And just like that, I've created a PDF from my document. You can do this in Word. You can do this in most word processing programs on Windows and on Mac. In Windows 10, it works just the way I showed you. There's a menu item where you can choose to create a PDF. If you have a version of Windows older than 10, there's a printer that AcuGraph automatically installs that's a PDF creator, and you just print to the PDF creator as if you were printing to a printer, and it makes your PDF. You choose where to save it, it saves it, just like that. A word of warning though, do it through the print window. Don't go into, for example, export and try to export it as a PDF like I'm showing on screen now. That uses a different PDF engine, and that doesn't work. It creates a problematic PDF. So don't do that. Do it through the print command. Fair enough? So once you've quote unquote printed or created your PDF, let me show you how you can add that one. So I'm going to browse because I want to add a custom cover page. I'm going to browse to my desktop here where I saved that one. It was the We Miss You cover page .pdf. I choose that one by hitting open. And now it's listed right down here. And step 2, now that I've chosen it, is I get to give it a name. Well, I already named it We Miss You cover page. But since it's in the cover pages directory, I don't need the words cover page on it. So I'm just going to say I want to call this We Miss You. Just like that. And so now that I've named it what I want, I add it to the list, and there it is. It's just that simple. We Miss You is in there. And if I need to look at it, I can click right here, and AcuGraph will show me the cover page. That way I can see what it is. And now when I go back to my last graph, and I go to my print window again, you'll see in my drop-down menu, there it is. There's We Miss You. And if I choose that cover page, now it's on my report. So it's just that simple. Okay, one other quick thing I want to show, and Kimberly, let me know if there's anything else you see that I need to cover. But one other thing I wanted to show about managing cover pages in this demo, I've gone back to the settings and I've gone back to reports, and I'm here in the cover pages area again. And that is, I'm going to go back up here to settings again, into the reports area, back to the custom cover pages. And you can see I have a list now of 3. And I can manage that list. I can, for example, I've got some cover page templates here. I can go ahead and add another one. Very quick and easy. I can also delete. So you hit the X button and you can remove cover pages. And so you can, if you have a cover page in there and it's old and you want to change it, delete it and upload a new version of it, totally fine. Then click here, delete cover page, remove from the list. There is a limit of 10 cover pages that you can have, which means you can have a cover page for first visit and for second visit, and a reactivation page for people you haven't seen in a while. You can have all kinds of other ideas, which I'm not going to steal Kimberly's thunder. I'm going to let her share some of this cool stuff with you. Kimberly, is there anything else I need to demo in terms of how to add and manage cover pages before we get back over to your stuff?
I think it's important to recognize, one, that you can have 10, and then the other thing is you don't want to be hugely extreme and try to do a 10-page cover page with a whole bunch of crazy graphics. Kimball will tell you, no, 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 don't do that. So keep them fairly simple, get the message across, but if you're having something that's more extreme, perhaps it's not the best place for your cover page.
And I would add that cover pages can be multiple pages in one PDF. It doesn't have to be a single page, quote unquote, cover page, but you could have actually multiple pages that is counted as a cover page and is put on the front of your report.
And one that I'm going to share today is 4 pages long, but it's valuable information, but it has a lot of text, but not as many graphics. It's huge amounts of graphics that are the really big problem.
Okay, well, over to you, Kimberly. I have stopped screen sharing, so ready to see what you've got.
All right. thank you for those who have been able to stick through this with us. Jared, way to go. I see many of our regulars on here, and I am going to share my screen and get back to you learned your basics, you know where to catch resources for afterwards, and we're going to now get into the creative part. There is so much that you can do, and I'm just going to scratch the surface and give you some ideas of how I'm using cover pages in my clinic. Honestly, when I first started asking for a cover page, it was after I came back from an acupuncture convention, and I wanted to send a graph report to the people who had been to the show. And instead of including everything I wanted to tell them in an email, I wanted to have a cover page that said, hey, here's AcuGraph and here's the information. So you can really expand yourself with this. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the obvious, your new patient cover page. So this is really important, and there's a whole nother webinar on this. I'll just slide forward for a second. Your other webinar that's in your resources is enhance your reports with custom cover pages. So if you are trying to learn how to create your first initial cover page that is tied to you and your clinic, we have done an entire webinar on that, and then there are downloadable resources. And in those downloads, there are multiple choices. You can open them up. And I just want to say here, this is mine. So this is from the AcuGraph resources that we give you in that webinar. And I just went in and I changed some colors. I changed the color of the stripes. I added my own logo. I added my own picture in. Changed the font color a little bit. So I was able to go in and customize it to fit my very own clinic. And we absolutely encourage you to do that. So there are drop-in spots. We've given you some basic terminology that is a nice place to start when it comes to talking to your patients in that template, but feel free to change it up and make it your own, do whatever. So we're trying to make it easier for brand new AcuGraph users and to create the feel. So this is mine. So the thing that you really want to recognize here is that you can change the colors on that and add your own logo. Make it yours and make it look special, because this is the first impression. When my patients leave my office, I have this cover, when they're a new patient, I have this cover page, I staple it with their graph, and I add 3 business cards to it, because when I send them home with this cover page, this is a representation of the clinic and who I am. And this was their first impression. And so I want them to, when they're telling their friends, I want them to have business cards that they can share. So that's what I have to say about your new patient one. And like I said, there are plenty of resources available that you could go watch a different webinar and find out more information about that in your account. And I think Dr. Larson kind of already did this, this demo. He showed you how to get to your account. And once you're in your account, just click on the webinar training portal. And then from there, you can scroll through and find all of our previous webinars. You should definitely take the time and utilize the webinars that we've done in the past. Maybe they won't have as many glitches as this one did, huh?
They've
Okay.
never had glitches.
I know, this is crazy. Okay, so this one I'm really excited about. I think you can see my face. Well, I don't have to change my screen. So this one here, I was thinking recently, if somebody's trying to build their practice, and you have a patient and they'll come in and they'll come for a series, and then they'll say, hey, I'll call you when, in a couple weeks when life gets better. And perhaps they don't call. They kind of fall off the plate, and you need to, if you need a way to remind them that they haven't been in a while, I have come up with a way, and I've created a printable, or a cover page that you can add to a report. And here's what you need to recognize. If you go in and you find that some patients are not active anymore and you know that they're a good candidate for coming back, if you'll go in and click on an old graph of theirs, and then when you are giving them their analysis, make sure you print on the graph and the symptoms related to the graph. And this cover page is so simple. This will just go in the mail to them in their email, and they will see your cover page. It says, "We miss you. How are you doing? We're just trying to touch base." And then what you're teaching them is that symptoms are related to imbalances. So you're showing them a graph with imbalances, you're letting them read about symptoms, and you're telling them that you're thinking of them, and you're giving them a sweet little reminder that you are there for them if anyone in their family, if either they or someone in their family is having symptoms, that they should give you a call. It's a simple little message. It's a reach out. And so this is available to you. And this is literally, when I said, I just simply took an old graph and I added the meridian analysis to it. I didn't add much more than that, but it's a way to reach out. I guarantee you that using this as a reactivation tool will be a really good option for bringing patients back. So I'm going to move forward here. Home care. I do so much talking to my patients about home care when I'm going through a series of visits. Sometimes I'm talking to them about breathing or journaling, or let's say you send them home with ear seeds and people say, "Well, how long do I leave these in? And what do I do with them?" Create a cover page that explains what they need to know about ear seeds, when they should take them off, how they should take them off before they come back to see you again. You could talk about exercise or stretches, whatever home care technique that you want your patient to know more about. You could create a cover page related to the home care. Another idea would be local resources. So if you have a new, here's one from my clinic. We are hiring a new massage therapist this week. So maybe everyone who I treat this next week, when I send them an email of their graph, like, "I'm going to send you an email of your graph and I'll see you next week." So adding the cover page that day for regular patients who've already, they don't need the initial cover page anymore. I might have a cover page that says, "We have a new massage therapist, give us a call," or share with your friends. I could, if I have a chiropractor that I love to refer people to, I could let my receptionist know up front that we're referring this chiropractor, so add that cover page to the graph. I could have just a list of local resources for new patients of all of my favorite other practitioners in town. So these are just some ideas to help you to get creative. If you're doing a health fair, you could create a special cover page about your clinic. "Hey, it was great to meet you," attached to your graph. "Here are ways we can help you." You're kind of introducing them to aspects of your clinic that they may not have known about based on that little bit of time that you had to meet them. Make sure you include your email address and your website. I'm just going to throw in right here that sometimes people aren't really good with creativity, but if you can find a local college student who's into marketing and design, they are happy to help you. If you'll just jot down your ideas of what you're looking for, they are happy to help you create some of these cover pages for a very inexpensive amount of money. And it helps them to get their name out, and it helps you to look professional. I'd rather you look professional than to create something that you've just thrown together. So there's just a little bit of thought there. Okay, so here's something fun. I'm adding a handout to you here today. So in my clinic, when my patients are on the table, I'm always talking to them about new recipes. We have a couple of them that patients are always asking for. Bone broth. In the summertime, I was sharing my pico de gallo recipe. I'm always sharing fun stuff. Lately, this is my newest one, and it was the holidays, and I created I have a cranberry chutney recipe, which I'm pretty well known for here in town. So I decided to create the recipe and share it with my patients. So during the holiday season, lots of my patients are getting a recipe from me. It's just an added little touch. And so I'm giving you my famous cranberry chutney recipe. And this recipe, I don't know how much time we have. We're kind of running out of time based on all of our glitches, but this recipe has followed me around for 20 years, and it was given to me by a sweet little old lady, and I have added little elements to it and made it my own, and it is the holiday treat all the way through our season. So this is a gift to you. You don't have to add it to your patients, for your patients, unless you want to, but it's an idea on what you can do. Bone broth, for sure, you'll want to create your own recipes for. Next is patient education. So I learned back in my years of going to network marketing meetings that most people don't know all of the things that you can treat. And I was taught that if I was going to a networking meeting, that I should cut my business into little tiny slices and give people little bits of who I am and what I do. Do your patients know that you treat Bell's palsy, fertility, menopause, neuropathy? I mean, perhaps they come in because they have low back pain, but if they know all the other things that you do, just occasionally change out that cover page with more patient education information. It's a helpful thing to do along the way. You could do a cover page for monthly promotions if you're having an event, if it's the new year, if you do nutritional cleanse type information in your clinic, and it's that time of year, that the change of seasons, and you're promoting a cleanse, you could have a cover page for that. Again, I was talking about the new massage therapist coming into my clinic, so I'll offer a massage discount just so everyone knows. It's just a nice way that they are looking at their graph, they love to get a copy of their graph, and you're giving them more information. All right, here's another handout for you guys, and I'm really excited about this one. So at-home laser care. Many of you are utilizing lasers to print out points for your patients to treat at home. And I do as well. And oftentimes I'll stand next to the table and I'll tell them all the things that they need to know about their laser for at-home treatment. So I thought, this is silly. Why not have a cover page? So we created a cover page, and it gives basic laser instructions for the patient. And it tells them, it's got frequently asked questions. And then, so if you add this cover page, you add the graph, and when you are in your treatment plan for that day, and let's say you choose 4 treatment points that you want them to treat at home, you add those points into your treatment plan, you click the little at-home care button on in your treatment plan, and then when you print it, if you click on home treatment points, I think that's the terminology. Adrian, maybe you could chime in if I'm wrong.
I think you're right.
Then there's the list of the points that they need and instructions with their lasers. So if you are utilizing lasers for home care in your clinic, this is a great resource for you. And so I've created that for you so that you can add that into your AcuGraph. Newsletter. If you're doing a newsletter, if you're writing blog posts, or if there's things in the news about acupuncture that you want to share, you could create cover pages for that. And again, you only have 10, but these can change and come and go, and you can have different cover pages at different times. So another one that I have a handout for you is the Jade Vitality Heating Pad. So I sell the Jade Vitality Heating Pad in my clinic. And I was trying to think how I could share a cover page. I have it for my own clinic in my own voice. And I was trying to come up with a way that I could share that cover page with you. And so I have shared a story about a patient of mine with fibromyalgia. And when she started using the Jade Vitality, her fibromyalgia, she was pain-free for 3 days after she started using the Jade Vitality, and she had only had the Jade Vitality pad for 3 days. So when I have patients who have chronic pain, I like to share the story with my patients so that if they want a Jade Vitality, then they can order it from me. So we've created a cover page for you called The Magic of the Jade Vitality Heating Pad. And occasionally you might just have that chronic pain patient, or when they're talking about their family members who have a lot of pain, if the Jade Vitality would be a good fit for them and you sell them in your clinic, then we've created a cover page that if you want to add that to your cover pages, then you can. I think you'll enjoy it. We do share my story, but it comes back to you as a practitioner telling them that you can help them with chronic pain. So like you're seeing here, your possibilities for creativity are endless. And I've given you a few ideas. And as we were coming up with this, some old things that I've created came to mind that I wanted to share. I guess I'll get to those in a minute. You're going to be able to download all of the ones that I told you that you get a free cover page, and that is in your group chat. You can download that link, and then these 4 cover pages that I told you about for reactivating a recipe, laser, and the Jade Vitality Pad are all there, and you download them, drop them onto your desktop, add them into your AcuGraph as cover pages. They're done, they're already PDFs and ready for you. All you have to do is click the button in the chat window. And then for those of you who are watching this later through the recording, this will be in your AcuGraph user account as well under the webinar. There will be downloads with these as well. So I'm going to share a few more that I'll kind of breeze through quickly, but here's a fun idea. If you can't tell already, I'm kind of a foodie, and I love teaching my patients how to use food to supplement their health based on Chinese medical diagnostics and help them to heal their body from inside. So a while back, there's a webinar that I did called TCM Food. It Pays to Be a Foodie. And then it was a 2-part series webinar. And in that webinar, I talk about how to use the food portion in AcuGraph. And we talked about, there are downloads available or for purchase, I believe, where you can order some PDFs. Actually, there are downloads available for ideas to create your own template. And then we did some made for you templates with food options. And so that is available at the end of this webinar. And I'm going to give you a peek what's in them. And here are some other ideas of what you can add for cover pages. So within each of these downloads, we give you a fun picture with a cover page, but inside we give you a recipe, and we talk about Chinese TCM patterns. So grumpy, we talk about liver qi stagnation, and then we give a recipe for liver qi stagnation. And so there are 12 of these, I believe, and I'll just kind of run through them. So lunch ideas for your irritable spouse. These are kind of fun. If you have a patient who is a nursing mom, or you have a grandma whose daughter is nursing, there are recipes for a nursing mom, and we talk about liver and blood deficiency. So it's what nursing moms should eat. That would be a great cover page with a recipe to be added. Here's one. The bad breath elimination diet. This one has to do with food stagnation in the stomach. And so if your patient has food stagnation, you could offer this cover page. And obviously it's more than this picture that you're seeing. It has to do with what food stagnation is, how to avoid it, the right foods to eat, and a recipe for food stagnation and special diet for food stagnation. How to eat during menopause. So this one's fun. This has to do with yin deficiency type of foods. So it's just a patient education opportunity. And what about libido? Kidney yang deficiency. It's been a while since we created these. I'm laughing as the pictures come up because they're pretty funny. It will get your patient's attention for sure, won't it? So kidney yang deficiency, and then just what the TCM doctor ordered after surgery. I believe that the recipes and the information in here have to do with qi deficiency. So extreme qi deficiency after a surgical or a chemotherapy type of presentation. One for cold, achy joints, and that would have to do with B syndrome. So B syndrome with cold, there would be recipes and it would explain it. So again, you're presenting these recipes, which patients love, and then you're also presenting different aspects of Chinese medicine and different symptoms that you can treat. How about this one? Get rid of smelly gas fast. Again, damp heat in the large intestine. That's what the recipes in here would have to do with. So there are, I believe there are 12, right? Something of that nature. There's a bunch of them, 12 of them. So that would be, if you did these for an entire month, that would give you a year of unique cover pages. And if you were to go to the webinar, the TCM Foodie, the 2-part series, and you clicked there, it would be $50 to get all of this pre-made information. We're going to offer that for $20 if you're interested in adding that to your repertoire for 2020. $20 and $20. Good job.
And the link to
did
get that is right there in the chat window in the in Zoom right now.
Yeah, so that would be, you'd literally just get a download and they would all be there. So all of those PDFs would be there for you. And what I want to say, finally, I will get to the questions, but I want to say Happy New Year. I hope that you can use these cover pages as an awesome opportunity to educate your patients, to have a little more creativity, to help your patients to learn who you are and what you do, and perhaps add a little more bling to your AcuGraph report. I'm going to stop sharing my page. Maybe you want to stop sharing for me, Adrian?
Let me see if I can. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so Kimberly,
Questions that
yeah, awesome stuff. For questions, since participants that are in right now can participate live, you can just unmute your microphone by hitting the microphone button down at the bottom of your screen there and ask Kimberly any questions you have now, or you can type them in the little chat window if there's anything you'd like to cover. A question that I'll throw out while we're waiting for people to consider that is, I'd like to know if this, for anybody, has started kind of some thought, some juices flowing, some ideas about how you might use cover pages in your reports to better connect with your patients, to better reactivate, market, etc. Are you seeing some potential here, folks? Let me know.
This is one of those unique webinars where we had to close down 3 different times. So we've lost some of our crowd, but I'm glad we still recorded this because I know there will be many, many who will be watching it later. It's going to be a great resource to our training.
Diane asked a question here. She says, any suggestions on how to get computer savvy with these fabulous ideas? I think I need to get educated. This is the #1 thing that I think holds people back from doing this cool stuff. And so I wanted to, let me just touch on that for a minute. #1 is, if you have an idea, then hire somebody who's computer savvy to design a cover page for you. Tell them, you know, give them the text. Here's what I wanted to talk about. And often this is the kind of thing you can get done for 20 bucks, 30 bucks. It might take a designer half an hour or an hour. It's not a big deal. And there's lots of places where you can find somebody local that likes to do design if you go into some of your local social media stuff, or you can go on some of the internet-wide things like Fiverr or Guru and find somebody who does freelance work. And it's well worth it for you to invest a few dollars to get some nice cover pages made. And then once those are made as PDFs, well, we did a demo, and you can go back and watch the demo, how to add them in. But it's designed to be accessible so that even if you're not computer savvy, you follow the clicks we showed you, and you will have cover pages.
And
Kimberly, you have
Diane,
anything to add there?
Diane, with the downloads that we have given you for your patient reactivation, even though we miss you, if you'll just be sure that you drop these in as AcuGraph cover pages, this will be an activation point right here, and it's already done and made for you. It's not written in the language of my clinic. This is written in the language of all of your clinics. So it is a download that you can utilize now and get yourself started.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Jason, by the way, pointed out a website called Canva, great templates to help out. And there's probably others. If you Google around looking just for flyer templates, then that can help you with design too. This really is doable. I just want to be as encouraging as I can that you can do this.
You know, when they create something for AcuGraph, the background story is, let's see if Kimberly can do it. If Kimberly can do it, anybody can do it. So it has to be simple enough to grab it and drop it in. And I believe in you. You can do this, Diane.
I know that we've gone well over time, and many apologies for all of the technical issues, but in the end, I think we got some great information. And those that are joining later and watching the recording, go ahead and hit the downloads that'll be available where you're watching the recording, and get started with templates and cover pages. Louise also said, or Louise asked, I was just wondering if there's a way to change the salutation on the PDF from Dear Patient. On a PDF, either you'd have to get a tool that edits PDFs, and they're out there, Google PDF Editor, or you can create it in, recreate it in a word processing program like Microsoft Word, and change it in whatever way you want, and then save it as a PDF through the print window, like I demonstrated earlier. All right. Well, I think we will go ahead and end right here. I want to thank everybody for joining us. If you have further questions, then visit us in the AcuGraph users group in Facebook, or reach out to us here at Meridia. We're here to help. Meanwhile, we wish you a very happy and prosperous new year, and wish you lots of success in using AcuGraph with your patients. Kimberly, any final words?
Thank you for being patient with us. It's been quite the journey today.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Blessings to you all. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.